Welcome to another episode of the Quiver Podcast, and today we'll be talking about the big 111-110 win by DLSU over UE. Then we'll also be previewing the upcoming UP game, and finally talking about those two big injuries to Mason Amos and Kian Pakayan. Now that they know they'll be both out for the season. I'm Kiko. Thanks for listening today. Joined today by Brian. Say hello.
Hello, probably the first podcast episode produced outside of the Philippines.
Oo nga, both more international. I'm a bit overdressed, Bri, for our episode. I think I expecting we were in that third quarter when we were down 21. I think I started getting dressed for a funeral, so I'm dressed this way. And funeral for our season, losing to an 0-6 0-5 UE team. Where in the world are you, Brian?
Yeah. I'm just a bit north of the Philippines. Maghahanap tayo ng bagong FSA siguro.
We all need all the help we can get. I think that's what a 2-3 record does to you, Brian. You do a bit of soul searching, a bit of traveling. That's why
exactly.
Yung effect niyan.
Totoo.
But we're now at 3-3. Back at 500, so we'll lot to unpack in that game against UE going to overtime. It was a 111-110 win by the Sal Green Archers, and we were talking about this game, Brian, where it felt like a must-win game. Where if we lost, the season will be that's over. That's it. Is that how you felt going this game?
Yes, but at the same time, I already had that apprehension that we can lose to this UE team. Kasi diba, even before when we looked solid, when we had a complete lineup and everything, this Red Warriors team found a way all the time to make it difficult for us. If not lose to them completely, alam mo yun, they'll always make us work for a win. And today, the game just this past midweek, talagang testament siya to that. It's really stretched us in more ways than one, and unfortunate, of course, with the injury of Kian Baclayan, which we'll touch a bit more moving forward in this episode.
Oh, nga. And let's get into the game, Brian. We saw more of the same in terms of struggles with LaSalle. More than the offense, I've always said to you guys, I've been concerned about the defense. I think we've been allowing our opponents to get into the paint easily. We've not been able to disrupt their offensive sets. They're able to expose our weaknesses, whether it's drawing out our big man to get to the interior and such. I think defensively is where we've been lacking in really more than a bigger concern compared to the offensive side. And I saw a lot of that. Precious Moe, 42 points to this game. We got guys at Lingo Abate to really get points against us in this game, and that shouldn't be happening to a 0-6. At the time 0-5 UE team.
Yeah. Well, yung UE team na to, it's always tricky. When I watch the games, I think the Ateneo game they could have won that. There was another game where they were also Adamson. That game, they led entering the fourth, and ang live wire din nila maglaro. Pag mahinat sila, just like the first half in this LaSalle game, they can really beat anyone on their day.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, that day hasn't come. Fortunately for us, of course. But unfortunately for you, that day, we were maybe one free throw away. We will have to praise again the Archers, 78% from the line, 26 out of 33 this time. So, we always call them out for their free throws, but maybe that saved us today kasi imagine kung 25 out of 33 or whatever the clip was before OT.
It would have not been close.
Exactly.
At 21 points, Bri, I saw the light at the end of the tunnel. I was like, I think this is our season. Coming to an end right here.
Inaalala ko kung nasan ako ng 21 points down Nasa parang factory na ginawang workshop. Sabi ko, magsha-shopping na lang ako. But I was following the score play-by-play updates. Tapos, nung bumaba ng 12 points, thankfully, through Kian Baclayan's efforts, sige, mag-boy Gcash na ako. So, nag-stream ako. Di ka na matiis. Sabi ko na una, I just want to follow the game play by play. Para, sige, ano lang, relax. And then, alam mo yun, it's getting tense. I guess, it's relatable to a lot of LaSalle fans. Kasi, diba, when we follow this team, and in this kind of game, midweek, first game, of course, many of us are preoccupied, either school, work, doing something else, in my case, traveling. So, it's kind of difficult to have that focus na panoorin mo yung video. But maybe to some, baka hindi lang ako yung gumawa ng ganun. Baka yung iba, nagbukas na rin ng stream, either TV, Pilipinas Live, Signal TV, whatever means to watch it. And really just see how they're really doing. Because it was honestly difficult to follow when during the first half, parang sabi ko, all the while, any try we make in chipping away, parang we had a 3-pointer to fight the fire. So parang sabi ko,
it was one of those games, Brian, no, na recipe for disaster. Yung lahat ng pumapasok, everything was falling for them. Nothing was going right for us. But what brought us back into that game? You mentioned Kian Baclaan. What did we do differently?
I think we also defended better. We limited UE's transition. Kasi first half, I think, kung titignan mo yung tail of the tape lang, kunwari di na natin napanood yung game in full, which we did, actually, we didn't naman. But if you only look at the stat sheet, UE's fast break points are 17, but their points of turnovers are 6. Meaning their fast break points come from yung mga baskets natin and then they inbound the ball all of a sudden and then our defense is still not set up for whatever reason. Either their heads are down or they're just outpaced by UE. So, di ba usually you would associate fast break points with turnovers kasi that's the most common
and turnover points as a sense.
Exactly, most common flow. Pero turnover points nila parang 6 points lang and then their fast break points 17. Sabi ko, they were really running us. Parang they were outrunning us. Naalala ko sinabi ni Vic, tinanggal yung takbo sa atin. Ito baliktad, hindi lang tinanggal yung takbo sa atin. Kinuha pa sa atin yung takbo. So parang parang talagang I don't know what was going on. I think if we had the Archers been more careful defensively, that lead would have not swollen to that level. But yun na nga, dumating na nga doon. And I guess the Archers knew they really... I don't know what the conversation was at halftime as well. Baka may mesa na naman na nadamay sa MOA as reported, diba, 2 years ago. Yung game din yun yung si Coach Lopez daw may na anong mesa or chair. So, whatever that was, maybe
Dudley Boys nila sila ni Kaloy Garcia. If you remember that reference from the old wrestling days.
Yes.
Get the tables.
Well, baka na-inspire si Wello. Baka na-inspire si Wello dyan, diba? So, who knows?
And good point, Brian, there, because I've always thought, I think we're not an effective team when we're forced to play in the half-court set. And that's one of the reasons we've struggled so far. Because once we go into half-court sets, we can predict the ball. That's when we see Mike shooting 3-pointers.
Exactly.
I can't shoot free throws. I'm gonna shoot 3-pointers if you guys don't trust my free throws. But if we have a defense that's disruptive, that can play helter-skelter basketball, two-way basketball and fast-paced transitions, getting turnover points, beating teams on the fast break, I think that's where LaSalle basketball really is. I think that's our secret to success. And I've always felt that's the direction we have to go. And that's something I felt that we went to help us get back to this game. What did you think?
Yeah, that's a good observation. And really, especially if we talk about the fourth quarter, which I got to follow visually this time. You can see that once there was still that attempt by UE. We were down by 8 and then they had another 3, push it to 11, and I thought, okay, aasa na ba ulit tayo kasi bumaba na ng 8 and then umabot pa ng 11. Parang ako, if they couldn't find a way to keep in step, wala na to. And when it was cut down to 5, it was really just finding their way, willing their way inside and looking for that basket. Not necessarily paint points. May mga, alam ko may jump shot din si Kian Baclaan. So, parang talaga, all in you have to play. Parang sa baseball, alam mo yun, pagka game 7 na, you play everyone. As in talagang, labas mo na lahat ng baraha mo in that sense. Because if you don't, then your outlook for the next coming games, especially if talo, diba? If you don't give yourself a chance, wala, mahirap. As in, talagang buhos ka na dun.
Funny thing, Brian, we labas natin lahat ng barahan natin. You wouldn't expect that we would say, when you say that you think you'll be in a game 3 for finals, but no. Or you do or die game. But no, we're gonna against. If I told you we're gonna doing it against UE in the first round, on a Wednesday 2:00 game, that would have been unbelievable for us at the start of the season if I told you that one. But yes, we erased those obituaries. We did come back, led by Jacob Cortez, and it's what they have 26 points. Jacob Cortez all game. What do you make of his performance leading? Kian was that spark. I think he embodies that helter-skelter basketball that LaSalle has to play in sort of style of play. But it was Jacob who finished the job, which when Kian went out.
Yeah, I think that's where they complement each other. And it showed, especially when Baclan went down. Jacob really took that responsibility, looked for ways to find his teammates, and when he can't, he trusted his instincts, which we've already witnessed how much he can execute, how well he can execute rather against San Beda. For San Beda. Sorry, for San Beda, diba? We've seen that in the NCAA. Of course, the wondering is that can he do that in the UAP level? And maybe the naysayers or the doubters will keep saying that, okay, he's done it maybe against inferior teams or against teams that are not challenging because, I mean, we haven't seen him take over like that in the NU and UST losses. In the Ateneo loss, he did that, but obviously it was too much of a gap. So, I guess Jacob can just face whoever's in front of him, and the way he takes it on is that even if he can't finish the job, he'll take the responsibility. And fortunately for LaSalle, he executed. Had those end one plays. Really make the defensive sequence think twice. Would he stop for a jump shot? Would he go for the hoop, with the layup? Would he step back for a three? Ginawa niya yung lahat eh. It's just that, alam mo na yung ano niya, yung mixtape niya, if I would say. Alam mo na yung mga
it was his highlight reel niya. Ito yung highlight reel on repeat. The Jacob Cortez highlight on repeat. Yeah.
I think yun yung benefit kapag marami kang moves. Because you'll always, alam nila lahat yun. Pero hindi mo alam kung kailan niya gagawin yun lahat. So that's
and sometimes you can't stop it. And sometimes you still can't stop it. Diba?
Exactly. The only way you can stop him is foul. I mean, yun na lang siguro. And maybe force him to the line. He had one of two. He had one of two nung last free throw.
That's the secret of stopping any LaSalle player. Diba? Yun. That and unplanned pregnancies. Those are the two biggest hurdles to yung natin to Archers the past season.
And so. may bago na. Which I hope does not become a trend. Yung mga injury ka, yung tatargetan mo yung tuhod ng kalaban. Baka yun yung third gahanap sila.
We'll talk about we have to talk about those injuries later. There's a lot of coincidence there that we have to talk about. But Jacob bring us to a 5-point lead at a point. So was it 98-93 if I remember correctly? The step back three, right? At that point, Brian, coming back from 21 down, taking the lead from that in third quarter, taking the lead in the fourth with less than a minute to go. Did you feel safe at that point? Or knowing LaSalle basketball?
No.
You're not,
Honestly, no. I remember I was telling my girlfriend, we were on the bus to a night market. We were up 5. I was silently celebrating. Kasi, respect spaces. And then, sabi ko, we need one more stop. And then from there, even if we don't score, we're safe. But Momoe scored off Mike Phillips. I think it was a post move. He spun around Mike. Easy basket. So the lead was down to 3. And then, if I remember correctly, we elected to shoot from deep. Jacob Cortez ulit. I don't know if he checked or wala lang talaga siya makita at the time. So he rather shoot it than turn the ball over. And it just didn't go in. Of course, if it went in, people will be praiseful, diba? Parang ano yan Aljon Mariano shot. If it went in, everyone will be praiseful. But it didn't, diba? So, but we still had the lead. I thought it would have been safe when Abate was about to drive. But Mike Phillips had this moment and he said, would he foul or would he not foul? Apparently, it became an unsportsmanlike foul. I can see why it was given. I'm not gonna complain. As in, not going for the ball or medyo tactical. So, I guess that's the reason why the referees...
Yeah, I was so. You've seen those fouls committed before, and they would just be, in that context of the situation where you had to foul the player. Maybe it's not been given by. Yes, you're right. I can understand it why it was given. Yeah.
Yeah, so at that point, okay, delikado pa. And I was just fortunate na buti nag-miss si Abate nung isa ng free throw. Because that would have meant that, okay, maybe UE will play it safe here, go for the overtime rather than for a 3-point shot. Kasi tricky na eh. I mean, time was winding down. They wanted the certainty and maybe defend, which they did. That's why we had overtime. So I didn't think it was safe, just to answer the question.
Oh, no, it wasn't. Nothing. We've not been safe this season yet. I don't think we have experienced
Exactly.
safety. That safety and comfort that escaped us this year. So but there was really that. Were you shocked about I want to go back, bring us back to preseason, Brian. We saw this U game, probably the easiest game of that first round schedule, arguably, right? This is the easiest. Like this is the one game we're probably gonna have. But everyone gets to play. If there's a game that everyone gets to play, this will be the UE game, diba? And the way the game played out before we go into overtime, we're backs against the wall. Then we fall to 21 points down the third quarter. And then we find a way to come back. Were you in shock of how that game turned out from we want to win big, we want to make a statement, oh no, we're down, since our season is over, to oh, we're back in it, no, but UE's not out, you have it, they're coming back. Did you believe the sequence of events of how you arrived here? Was it very surreal for you?
It felt surreal if you told me that at the start of the season, but as I was preparing for this game, sabi ko wala. I totally anticipated how. So to contextualize it, before the season, if you told me how this unraveled, I'd probably be astonished, like how I can see the way it would unfold as such. But coming into this game, coming from the NU loss, I'm not surprised because you see this UE team contextualizing their approach to this game. They almost beat Adamson, so they can sniff that elusive win. And they know they have a perfect opponent to face, a LaSalle team still in search of a lot of things, a lot of questions surrounding identity, chemistry, and all that. And they are coming off a back-to-back defeat. So in that context, in this very wild season, a 2-game losing streak and a 5-game losing streak doesn't feel totally different. So I think UE entered this game knowing that there's a wounded animal here that we can really pounce on, that we can really strike. And they almost did. First half, that's how it panned out. But fortunately also for them that their 3 suddenly went in, and then Momoe was finding his groove, whereas previous games he was looking underperforming to his standards. So we were saying even when we are watching some of the U games, we are not seeing him at his best. Apparently, he wanted us to see him at his best. Naghintay siya.
Yeah, he had an interview after. He was saying that LaSalle tried to recruit me and tried to get me to transfer, but I wanted to stay and show my loyalty to UE.
Yeah.
And I think
maybe
maybe he was trying to say, you guys should have tried harder. Maybe that's what he was trying to say with this game.
Baka dapat pinahiram natin ng Ferrari sa Daang Hari. Something like that.
Oh! Ferrari, Lamborghini, diba? Everything that yung buong the Descaya package, we call it that one. Yung array of coaches na yan, yung girls kasi
Mamili ka na lang.
Precious wanted I wanted the Descaya package, sabi ni Precious mo, but no, he stuck with UE. And we struggled to contain him, and that showed, Brian, that last play going into overtime where he tied it, the drop-off pass. We tried to go Mike Phillips one-on-one against him. We tried to put Bright again on him. It didn't work. So I think it's a concern going forward. We're having to struggle stopping these FSAs one-on-one where we have to double and adjust our defense. That's a concern for you going forward.
Yeah, actually,
we thought Mike was the stopper, diba? Nah, he was the FSA stopper. I don't know if is it Precious really that special talent? Is he that precious, or you think there's some concerns there systematically on our defensive end?
Well, there is, but we have to work with what we have now. We lost Mason. Well, I thought
Yep.
actually did well defending the post, especially in that UST game, and that's why UST was able to come back when Mason picked up his fourth, diba? And then
Yeah.
of course NU, I think Mason had he stayed on, Palasiela would have had more difficult looks on the post. Not to say he wouldn't have scored, but it wouldn't have been that easy, or it would have been yung execution niya wouldn't have been that well made. So yes, we are undermanned now in the bigs. Bright, I know there was clamor online. I see it. I even engaged with some of them sometimes. Parang they wanted Bright on the floor as long as Precious was there. Problem was, I think he picked up 3 quick fouls then. And of course, actually, offensively, he was alright because he scored maybe first 4 of our points, or at least first four
Yeah.
out of our 6
Had a
points. So,
dunk?
may ambag siya.
Had a dunk? Oh, had a
Yeah.
dunk. Sa Jari siya bukas, di ba? Or today, rather. Sa Jari siya.
Nasa
Andun
ano
siya.
siya.
So,
No, mas mauna siya kaysa sa ibang players na 0 points.
right above yung showbiz chika. Dun siya. Si Bright.
Yeah. So, concerned siya. But I think maybe that's where we can put our best defenders, see how they will solve this riddle. Because we cannot do anymore. Hindi tayo parang NBA na pwede tayo mag-trade, or PBA for that matter. Wala, we just work with whoever. We cannot even include people in the reserves, diba? It's really, year 16 is that. And we're down to 14 now. So we just really have to look from within, assess the quality of defenders we have. And maybe defend as a unit. Ganun lang talaga. As in, if it requires a double team constantly, yes, we will then sacrifice an open man. Then I guess that's where cohesion on the defensive systems would really matter. Kasi ganun din naman nangyari minsan kahit walang injured sa atin, may double team din naman. So right now, it's just really building a systemic defensive structure, whether it a trap, a zone, press, or a man, diba? It's up. Wala na tayo sa tactical circles. Like, I wouldn't even claim I'm an expert at that. So we trust our coaches to plan a way. Siguro si Coach Mon has something he should cook up. Especially now, it's a dilemma. It's been happening So I think he's aware din naman. So let's see how it, especially UP's proper test. Naruka, diba? He can prove he can score against a team that is undermanned. Nung nawala si Adili, parang I think
he stepped up.
Yep. Exactly.
And Brian, and talking about, by doing this by committee now with all the injuries that we have, one of the reasons we won this game, and something we've been looking for since the start of the season, is having that core of wings and guards step up. And also one of the reasons we won in the fourth, come back in the fourth, reason we were able to win in overtime. Finally, aside from Jacob Cortez's heroics, of course, is we got some production out of Earl Abadam, EJ Voris, right, Guliena. We got her, and something we've been looking for all season, especially now without Mason, without Keon. How important is this group of players now, even more so, in saving our season?
Yeah, I'd like to think we can call them as the 3x3 team. Sila yun eh. Sila yun eh. Nag-champion sa di ba? Ayala Mars. Sila yun. And I would say they are the glue guys eh. Alongside JC, Makalalag, and Doy Dungo. I think with Kian
I missed the two. Sorry, yes, I missed the two. Yeah, but they're part of the group. Yeah.
Exactly. That wider group, that player, tawag natin yan sa Football Manager, sila yung secondary group.
Yes.
To those who play. I don't know how many of you do, but parang ganun. So sila yung glue guys in basketball parlance. And I think now they have to be more than glue guys, especially with Mason out, Kian out. I think out of the losses we had, yung dalawang players, diba? Those two are big offensively, but I do see now that we can be better defensively because the criticisms for the two yun eh. Parang sila yung weak link in terms of defense. I mean, Mason, I said, is a good post-up player, pero pagka nilagay mo na siya in an ISO situation, that's where he's suspect.
Yeah.
As we've seen in this season.
That Neo game. Yep.
Yeah. And then Kian Baclayan often gets mismatched. Pag na-switch na, Parang,
Yep.
I remember Figueroa maximizing that mismatch whenever he got Baclaan in front of him. Parang sabi ko, okay, Figueroa was looking to do a lot of moves na alam na niya. Whereas if you put, let's say, Abadam, he'll try to look for the pass or he'll try to
Yeah.
delay the play muna. Parang ganun. So, this is not a shot at Kian and Mason. Of course, we'd still rather have them available than not. But now that they are gone, I guess we will change our approach to games. We'll have to be grittier. And may offense naman yung glue guys natin eh. Voris even had a dunk. Earl had a good shooting day, to say the least. EJ is always known for his hustle. Then si JC, I think he'll play the auxiliary point guard now. Now that Jacob, siya na yun lang yung primary, point guard.
Yeah,
He's not gonna
playmaker.
play 40 minutes all the time. That's unsustainable, diba? So maybe whenever he's off, I expect JC or maybe Doy Dungo to shoulder the load there. Nandun tayo sa situation now where the glue guys have to be more than that. And I hope one or two of them, maybe if not all of them, diba? Ideally all of them, take on their new roles now. Because where we go will really depend on how these players perform. Because we already know what we can get from Mike Phillips. We already know what we can get from Jacob Cortez.
Exactly.
The rest, they've been variable, like volatile outings. So now we need stability.
Yeah.
None of some of them could take the scoring aspect. Some of them could be more on the defensive side. They don't have to keep scoring a lot. I think yung sinabi si Vic 40 points. I could even bring that down to 35. As long as they combine 35 points and they play stellar defense, I'm okay with that. Parang ganun. Kasi mahirap din yung 40 points. Minsan malay mo kung low scoring game, diba?
It's an ask, yeah.
So, yeah.
I think I'd be happy. At a point, I'd be happy if we score 40 points total na nga. The way their seasons have been going. But
yes.
But it was a good, in a way. I know, Bri, the way the game went wasn't ideal for us. But I like the grit we showed to pull off the comeback, to pull off the overtime win. Because we've seen the script so many times before in LaSalle basketball where our season falls apart at the season. It still could. But we were able to hold that off for one more game. I don't know what losing to a winless UE team would have done for the team that was supposed to challenge or be favorites for the title, right? But now, we have we had a comeback win. So I think here we can see like two scenarios. I think we're at a crossroads here now, Brian. I don't remember, this was before I think you remember this time. There was this game. It was the year of James Mga. We lost 2009. We lost GV Enrico, moved on to the PBA, moved on to Gilas. So we had James Mangahas, PJ Barua, and Bader Malabes. That name, I know, gives some PTSD to some of our alumni who remembers. But there was this that horror season where we didn't make the Final Four. And many people felt because those three couldn't carry the cudgels of the team. We had that one game second round against UST where James Mangahas, if I remember, Brian, made some big shots and that group carried us. We thought that would have been the turning point, but it was just more of a flash in the pan.
Yeah,
it was tapering over the crack. It was tapering over the cracks where it was the only game we won the second round and we didn't make the Final Four.
True.
In my head, with what I've seen this season, that season could go that route. This would be the flash in a pan where we had one bright moment, but we don't have enough to carry through the entire season to get where we want to go. At the same time, Brian, I'm also thinking, remember 2 years ago, that game, you mentioned the exact game against UE, where we were struggling, Topex's first year, and it was that UE game that we finally find a way to turn it around. So right now, I don't want to predict, and I can't predict which way our season will go. Will it go the 2009 where UST was, that UST game was an outlier? Or is this a turning point to us? I really feel this is a crossroads for our season, and we'll get to know more about the UP game in the second round. But is that the same feeling that you have, Brian, about this game where it's too early to tell where we are going, which direction we're headed based on this one game? Or is it for you?
Yeah.
I've seen enough. It's a turning point. I know we have an identity now. We know how we need to do to win. we pulled it off. We have that winning mentality now, or we're not quite there yet. What do you think?
I think it's a turnaround. Yeah, there's a turning point here. But what I like about this part of the season, we're not too far behind who we're chasing. So we still have what it takes. Even FEU was only 1-1 game now, we'll still look at the Final Four picture and say, oh, we still have a chance because we're only 2 games back. And if they have that mental, or 3 games back for that matter, sorry, because they're chasing UP and Ateneo are currently tied for 3rd and 4th. But still, knowing LaSalle is in the mix, they'll look at it, oh, we can be in the mix, we're just 3 games behind. And that's how we can also look at UST and NU. Oh, we are 2 games back, and we still have to face both of them, and they will still have to face each other. So, destiny is still in our hands. I mean, of course, that would mean we win all the 8 remaining games, which looks like Mount Everest right now. But that's okay because I think now the team can also embrace this underdog mentality. Many would probably
they might take pressure off the team.
Exactly. Many would off LaSalle at this moment, losing Amos and Baclaan, seeing how the team has been shaky throughout. If anything, it hasn't been shaky since that 75-54 gap. That's a 21-point win. I mean, a
1-point swing.
Well, 26-point win if you just count the 5-point. Diba? Parang nabawi natin siya 21 points. Kung di na mag-overtime, sabihin na lang natin. That's what's in my head. So, that's a 21-point win. So, if they watch the tape, madali lang yun dapat eh. Whatever they did before the 54-75, wag nila ulitin or really do their best to avoid. As in, lahat ng pwede nilang i-criticize, dapat sarili nilang kinikriticize nila. If they go over the tape, either Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, panoorin nila yung game in 2 parts. Before 54-75 and after 54-75. And yes, granted, some parts of that second part of the video would have been with Kian. And then, maybe they'll just internalize, okay, let's just, of course, mahirap gayahin si Kian, di ba? So,
no one
find
can
their
do
own way.
On this team, yeah.
Find their own way to contribute. Find their own way to spark something. Because, that's their way. I mean, kaya naman sila ni-recruit eh. Di man sila ni-recruit dyan just to make up the numbers eh. Nire-recruit sila dyan to have a reason. May skill set sila na useful. So, I guess that's also now up to the coaches how to maximize the remaining players. While at the same time for the players to really do what they do best first and then improvise whatever needs to be secondarily. Kung ang role mo talaga is spot-up shooter or someone to provide the screen and then try to get the role, then work on that. Try to be 1 or 2 trick pony for the time being and basta ma-master mo siya, I think will be good. Kasi mahirap din nga yung, I think we've kept on heralding our depth, but with that depth, we also had imbalance. And I guess now, it's looking like a more balanced team. Yeah, it's looking like a more balanced team to me. But only if we can utilize the rotations properly, of course. Yun, nandun na yung headspace ko now.
So I guess we can go down to those injuries now, Brian. So from 16, they say we're down to 14. We're talking about other people's need to step up. And how did you get here? In 2 straight games, we lost. So start of the season, we had Mike, we had Kian, we had Jacob, we had Mason. These 4 will help carry us. 3 of them transferees, right? And we have the support guys who can help share the load. In 2 games, we've lost Mason to a season-ending MCL injury. We lost Kian to a season-ending MCL injury. We'll go to specifics there a bit more. I don't know why. I think we're a bit. Is there a transferee cursed here, Brian? We lost Mason coming from here. Who transferred from Ateneo. We lost Kian transferring from NU. I don't know. Is Jacob next? Should we wrap up Jacob? We had an Abulario. Maybe we had a residential team Abulario. Maybe he was recruited and transferred to UP. Nag-walk-in siya doon. We don't know. Kaya we're getting all this
credit na to siguro dun sa nangungulam dun sa comments. Credit na
siguro. Oo nga.
May nangungulam eh. Late yung nambaba. late yung mambabarang ni Vic. Kailangan na umaksyon.
Yeah, for those who know, may nagkukulam sa atin sa comments and they've been saying na LaSalle will suffer because of it. So, yep, there we go. We're hearing the brunt of
dahil
it
sa
now.
kanya talaga yan eh. Credit.
Credit to him.
Or her. Or them.
Let's talk about first these two injuries because they're both MCL injuries. We've talked about earlier who we think needs to step up, right? But let's talk about those two injuries. For the Kian one, when Lingo, maybe because it wasn't a Sunday, because it was a Wednesday, do you think, looking at, we've seen the replay a few number of times now, do you think there was he was, during that loose ball play, when he dives for the ball and falls on his knee, hurt his MCL, do you think there was some intent there? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it was unnatural. That's what I'm gonna comment. Unnatural, unnecessary, reckless to a point. Because he already had hands on the ball. I was on the side that had there not been that dive, a second more the referee would have called for a jump ball rather than a foul. Because the ball was not released. Muling Tapang and Baklaan were on the ball. Lingo was trying to win it, but then he already had his hands on the ball, meaning he could just try to poke it, or at least keep the ball unreleased to a point that there will be a held ball rather than a foul. That would have been a smart thing to do. And if I was a UE fan, that's what I'm gonna say too. I'm gonna call out Lingo because whether that's intentional, that's malicious, it's up to debate. Because I don't think he will admit that. At least not now. Maybe retrospectively when
it's very hard to judge intent. It's very hard to find that smoking gun. But already on your point, Bri, and we can go to Chris Gavina, who was complaining about why was it an unsportsmanlike in the first place? Maybe a personal foul. I think
we're talking about unsportsmanlike.
Like, with his Allen Iverson accent. Speaking of accents, nakatawa yung Brian, the guy in the comments, I said, his family driver spoke better English than we did. So that guy got jokes. Nakatawa.
Baka Australian yung driver niya.
Yeah, so good for him. We'll have your driver on the show. Maybe he has better manners than you do. But going back to the topic, Brian, it's hard to judge intent, but I think the referee, his number one duty is more than applying the rules to make sure all the players on the court are safe. I think that's one of the number one duties of a referee. And by doing what he did, it was very reckless. It was dangerous. So even though he didn't mean it, even though he's going for the ball, the mere fact he did it and the way he did it was an endangerment to players. And it showed the result by Kian being out for the season. Therefore, he deserved an unsportsmanlike foul, in my opinion. So, did you feel the same way, Bri?
Yes, and even if pinapahiwatig niya na natalo sila dahil doon, they still were up by 6 in OT. So I think he's trying to look for another aspect why they lost that game. Because to some that's how it sounded. He's trying to relieve some of the pressure. I don't know. If I'm in charge of UE, I would be fine with the 0-14 season because they don't really have the talent. But apparently they have. It's just a matter of motivating them. Ang problem nga is that sometimes it's they're over eager, they're over motivated. Then I can understand. Maybe Lingo at the end of the day didn't have the purest of intention to hurt.
And
because obviously player din siya. Ano lang, siguro boneheaded play. That's how I would describe it the best.
There were other calls too. The mic. I don't think the mic Phillips block was goaltending actually.
Nagulat nga ako na the score stood.
Oo nga, exactly. And there were several. He had 4 fouls. Moe, but I think he should have gotten his 5th much earlier in the year. Gio did say that it was a miracle he actually finished that game. He did, and he wouldn't be anywhere with Precious Moe. So, what do you make of Chris Gavina's comments about the officiating, that very colorful press conference? In other words, I know the way he did it wasn't proper for a coach in the kind of collegiate league that we have. But did you see some point there from Chris Gavina about the officiating being a concern this season?
Okay, let's give him some benefit. I think he did that in a colorful way for it to get talked about more because when Tab brought it up and when Chef Napa brought it up, it kind of got shrugged under the rug, swept under the rug in that way.
Yeah,
Because
we've heard Tab before. Complaining about referees, so I guess yeah.
and Chef Napa too, like they're usual voices. And there are also incidents, right? Like remember the UP Adamson game, both coaches were discontent. Like they were confused about that 4v5 thing, and then Coach Tropex also in the LaSalle Ateneo game. Of course, that I saw live. There were some calls there, or should I say non-calls, that they kept on looking for answers from the officials, and they just kept they fell on deaf ears, essentially. So I think around the coaches circle there is discontent. We've only seen USD and FU be less vocal about it. I think Sean Chambers may have even harped it just a little, like not to. It didn't make the headlines, let's just say.
Yeah.
So there is discontent, and I guess now with Gavina reacting in such a provocative manner, it should be looked at more seriously, especially by the commissioner's office, because it cannot go on like that. There are calls really that, alam mo yun, if pareho ng teams yung nagre-reklamo, alam mo ikaw na yung mali. Kasi kahit siguro nakinabang sila doon, di sila matutuwa kasi alam nila na pwede sila madali by that quality of calls. So, sila sa kanila na nanggagaling yan. We're just echoing it right now. So, I guess.
Yeah, it came out as like a WWE promo with the F-bombs there. In other words, emphasis, diba? Labas na si Vince McMahon comes out and
may money in the bank na. I mean, money in the bag.
Oh, yan. Papasok sa UP locker room. Ano laban? Hindi, tuition. Ano yan? Tuition yan. Tuition yan.
Corporate yan.
Corporate sponsorship. Pang tuition yan. Anyway, but I think it shows like maybe the UAP does have to address some things to the UAP if there's inconsistency and complaints from coaches. Maybe there's something that has to be addressed there in terms of consistency of the calls.
Yeah.
Jai Reyes, new commissioner, I'm sure he's feeling the pressure right now, getting out his complaints with the referee play issue. Now this one, I'm not too happy, which we can discuss another episode about the choice of review times, of when to review calls, of the length. It breaks the rhythm of the game, and for our college game, it's not that fun. It takes away from the atmosphere. So I think there are. Oh, go ahead, Brian.
Nakaawa na dun sa women's game because I think the women's game of FEU and USD, which was the second game of that day, almost 11 p.m. na matatapos. That's almost unthinkable in years past.
Yeah, I think it's a market opportunity for USD. If they do the games late, magsimbang gabi na after, like we're going to the Christmas season. Ano na, diba? Isabay na nila, diba? Diba have it 2-1. May misa after, may simbang gabi na. If the gays go back 10 o'clock, sabay nyo na.
Anticipated, diba? No? Yun na yun.
Yun na yun. Sabay nyo na. It's a market opportunity for USD. Anyway, yeah. So let's see how this refereeing issue plays out. But quickly before we leave the injuries issue, how for the Mason Amos play? We didn't discuss it in the last episode. Do you see something dirty without that? Because I saw who's the player again, Bri, who fell.
Jello Santiago.
Jello Santiago. I thought he was initially shoved by Kian, but I didn't see it on the replay. But he did have that little peek before falling on Mason's leg, and that gave me a little bit of doubt. I don't just like to believe the best intention they want to injure, but it does happen in basketball court. Kaya bibigyan ko lang to, di ba? Bigyan ko ng konting It does happen. But do you think there was something there during the Mason injury?
Again, I would reserve judgment of intent. Although it was unnatural, again, I think it could have fallen a few inches to the left. Ewan ko lang.
May extra momentum
how much, no? Yeah, yun yung mahirap i-judge. Mahirap siya i-assess sa video lang. Especially pag slow-mo. Kasi malay mo, malakas talaga yung hampas. And maybe he really tried his best naman. Kaya
parang Super Mario dun sa mushroom. If you know the family computer, yung Super Mario, nag-extra momentum siya eh.
Kaya nga. I think kung ako naman yung nasa position niya, I'll try to, baka inisip niya kasi kung i-undercut niya, baka pag ankle yung tinamaan. That would have been better for Mason. I mean, kung ankle, not to say, that would be less impact with the shoe, hopefully, rather than straight on sa tuhod eh. Kasi it's a delicate part, that joint. We know, di ba? I mean, it's a worry for everyone. And you don't want that happening to anyone. So, I'm not sure lang how he wanted to stop momentum kung na-realize niya na doon na siya mahulog. So, that's where I will give him the benefit of the doubt. I do understand some of our fellow fans were messaging us sa Facebook. Sabi nila, that was a nasty play, intentional, and he even posted the story that he kind of thinks it was, or maybe implies that way, not really sure. He didn't directly state it. So, let's see.
Yeah. So, but yeah, whatever so hard to judge intent. It's hard to really put a finger on these players, but it is what it is now. To find a way to how can we cope with two of our key players out for the season, and that starts with UP, which we'll be previewing next. But first, Brian, first thank our partners, Ibarra Manila, for checking out on social media. Ibarra watches have great timeless looks, and a portion of their proceeds you buy from the dealers, especially you see them at the DLSA office, goes to the SU student athletes. So it's a good way for you to show your style with a unique Lasallian brand. So thank you, Ibarra Manila. And talking about timeless classics, Bri. UP LaSalle both middle of the pack, both barely 500 and barely above 500. Not exactly the classic battle people are looking forward to the start of the season. Both of these teams will be ahead of the pack there. Not quite how everyone expected to play out, but especially now UE admittedly has turned the corner, playing much better basketball, playing much better than we are for sure.
More complete too.
Now that they're complete too, exactly. Now that we're now definitely underdogs in this game, they say, what are the key things you're looking for going to this game?
I'm looking for our defense to be at its best. I think there was this one game back then. Of course, we had different personnel. We contained them. I think they only scored 58 points, if I remember. I couldn't remember the final score. But whenever we keep them in check, that's where we give ourselves a chance. And I think it cannot be more true than now. Losing your backup spark plug, point guard, your stretch four. Yes, those roles are hard to fill, and probably irreplaceable skill sets too in basketball IQ. So it's up to the glue guys who are now more than glue guys. Baka na sila, Bulldog super glue guys na sila.
Yeah.
It's up to them. The Mighty Bond team. Bahala na. Mag-suggest kayo sa comments kung anong gusto nyo itag sa kanila. But it's up to them now to really play their style of basketball. And I think it could bode well if they are given more confidence, more playing time, more rhythm to establish themselves on the court. Because there will be Kian and Mason minutes to be spread out. Those 20 minutes a game that each of them has. So that's 40 minutes up for grabs to these players. There are 5 to 6 players, diba? So maybe 10. Some would see 10 more minutes. Some would see 5 more minutes. Let's see how the coach. Then yung challenge the coaching staff now. Then also to balance the rotation, to find the best combinations in certain scenarios, and also respond to what your opponents would give. And we will start with UP. And I'm going to say now, I'm not sure if you're going to ask me, but I'm going to lay down the marker now and say now, even if we lose to UP in the first round, I'm still okay where we are. Because at worst, that would be 2 games behind a potential 3-way tie for second, with all of them still playing, and with with us still playing all of them. It's not far-fetched. Of course, that would mean a tougher job than if LaSalle will win. But I will say it right now, even if we lose to UP, which probably looks more likely than it would have been days ago, I'm fine. I think it's how we play. I think this would be a free hit of a game. Because even if we play our best, we could lose this game. So I would think that, okay, just play, let everyone play their way. Let everyone maximize their contributions. And if it's enough for a win, better. If it's not, then pick up the slack. Maybe we will end up the eliminations in fifth or sixth, like what I was telling us, you in the GC, sa GC natin, sabi ko, I wouldn't mind us mag fifth if that means we can regroup and take on paper easier opponents, and we can say that now because we've beaten everyone below us. So at least there's that panghugutan mo na okay, natalo natin lahat ng teams na nasa baba natin sa standings, pero kailangan natin talunin din yung mga teams na nasa taas. So that's where I will say I do think that I did say in our season prediction episode it was 1-1, although I gave UP the second round. Maybe I will flip the script this time. I will say 1-1, but losing the first round. I don't think we are equipped enough just yet to beat this UP team. Unless, for example, they suddenly screw up. That's not our control anymore. But if everyone plays to their strengths, both UP and Lasal, I think UP will win by maybe 2 possessions. Parang ganun. How about you? How do you see it evolving? Yung itong matchup na to?
Yeah, I understand the doom and gloom. And I was thinking about matchups where I think UP currently now is the better backcourt stock. We lost our advantage in the front court losing Amos, but as I was thinking about it, Bri, I don't think it's gonna come down to just X and O's. We've talked about mentality the past few games, and that's something we've been lacking. I remember the losses we've had to UP where we've allowed them to fall. We've fallen behind. I remember that loss in preseason where we led big and we let them back in the third quarter. What I want to see from the team, and you're right, doesn't matter if we lose or not, but if we give them 40 minutes of LaSalle basketball, doing the things we want to do, trying to play our game and giving total effort without losing focus, that's a progress I would see to progress towards the right direction that I want to see. If we see that against a tough UP team whose record, I think they're better than the record shows.
Yeah.
I think now with the likes of Remogat being more integrated within the team, right? That front court is really starting to click. But if we do things in there that shows we're turning the ship in the right direction, that's what I want to see. A victory will be a bonus, but what I want to see is the mentality. Can we match up with UP mentally? Can we execute and do the things we need to do and hold that mental edge over UP? That will be a good sign for this team.
Yes, that would be massive because UP are probably the team that is mentally the strongest, diba? In the league.
Oh, I don't want to be outworked. We cannot be outworked, out-hustled by a team. We've lost these players. We have to make up for it in effort. These players lost in injuries. And hopefully that we want a game where people will say after seeing us play, even though we lose, is this LaSalle team isn't done yet, right? They can do what LaSalle teams felt before, falling behind 3-4, 4-4, and still made a run towards the finals and to the championship. If we can show spirit at Animo during this game, that's something I want to see more than the result. If we show that mental edge at Animo in this LaSalle team,
100%,
that'll be the right direction. In terms of predictions, it'll be a struggle, but who knows? We've been surprised before, so we'll see what this team holds.
We've been poorly shooting from 3.
That's what I say. Yeah, we hopefully.
So maybe this is our Lingo Abate game. Who knows?
Hopefully,
someone can find that stroke. Diba?
Who knows? Maybe Pablo shows UP what they missed this time.
Could be. There are a lot of ways and a lot of matchups, and we would not spend too much time on that because we're already past our time.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Nag-overtime na rin tayo. We're going to overtime na rin tayo. Term. Yeah, so we'll see what the game brings on Sunday, Brian. We'll check our recap episode here on the Quiver. Follow us on YouTube and listen to us on Spotify. And check us out on social media. Let us know your thoughts, your predictions for the UP game. Let us know your thoughts after the game. Win or lose, what did you think of the game? What do you see for LaSalle progress for the second round. Anything else, Brian, in your mind before we end today's episode?
Well, we would have this season recap after the UP game because there will be a midweek. So if any
the
of
first
you
round
want
recap.
to push forward any topics in mind, and not a guarantee we'll discuss them, but if you find very interesting or suitable ones, diba? We're open for that. Mailbag sort of thing. So just leave yours in the comments. I actually pick out na rin parang bala ko rin i-roast yung mga nasa comments but that's for another time siguro. Let's see the mood.
I have one mailbag question for you, Brian. How long will you be in Taiwan?
Iniisip ko na nga mag-extend 1-0 yung record ko na dito. Baka gusto ko. December.
I know your girlfriend who you're with is from UP. So I don't know if you uwi na kayo or if you extend and you guys win, she might leave you behind. So I don't know, is it worth your relationship to risk that? But anyway, we'll leave that probably for another day, Brian. Thanks for today. So see everyone after the UP game on Sunday. So as I always say,
Animo Lasal.